Hello, trading has closed on May 8th, 2025. As always, we'll do our disclaimer first. We'll go over our calls and then make our predictions. Now let's get rid of this. It's my trading plan for Friday. Friday is the 9th of May, 2025. Please remember I can change my plan, and my plan can be completely wrong. Trade at your own risk. I didn't like yesterday's action. I said if we re-challenge these lows, we should drop. And I said the only thing that would kill the idea would be to gap up smartly, which I felt would be tough to do. Well, we gapped up smartly, so we did what we had to do if you're a bull. Here's what we said. We said bulls need to gap, promptly overtake the high of day to keep the rally going. They did. What can I tell you? I mean, they overtook the high of day. What about today's action? Well, we got an ultimate buy signal plus a lower target near the high. The lower target's already printed. MEJT said it's false. Gives us higher targets 57, 12, 87, and ultimately a quarter of a handle higher. The catch is, and there's always a catch, at major changes in trend, MEJT is almost always going to leave a failed target or two behind. I'm just not certain that these are going to print. Now, I can be wrong. I mean, we can gap up here and make me look silly again, but this is negative stuff. We gapped up, hit a higher high, closed under all these highs, even closed under these highs and these low. Now, we don't have to hold on to that. I mean, that's a wall into the close. The wall is often a sign of panic selling. If that's panic selling, we're going to gap up, take this high out early, take this out, hit these targets, keep rolling on the upside. All we have to do is gap up and the wall into the close, and the higher price targets make that entirely possible. But this is very strong resistance here, and let's see why. Well, the first thing is that this is a huge rally starting way under the 200 day moving average, which is here. And we're almost up to that average now. We really should stop without going through that average significantly, and we came quite close to today's high. Now, I'll grant you we could go a little bit higher. We haven't hit it yet, but it's an area where you might run into trouble. If you connect these highs, we came right up to it and then stopped. Now again, you hit a trend line list like this, either you gap over the line or the line wins, and maybe we will, but it's more resistance. And if you connect these two tops, that's a Gann fan 2x1 line right from this low in April of last year. So we have the Gann fan resistance, we have trend line resistance, and we have 200 day moving average resistance. You really have to gap over that, and we could. I mean, you have to gap over it if it's going to work. And how about the count? Well, I can make this count work, but I'm not happy with it at all. When the count looks forced, even though it doesn't break any rules, when the count looks forced, I always look for something else. Now, what if this is a rising wedge? What if this is A down and that's B? What if that's a rising wedge? If it is a rising wedge, you shouldn't go all the way to the apex. You should break down first. And when you break through this line, break through this low, the rule is you undercut the low of the wedge, and I don't see that happening. So, because this had all the makings of a major bottom, major, and it really shouldn't be undercut. So, I don't always get what I want. I don't want that to be the right count, but it looks better than the last one. I mean, this one doesn't break any rules either. Here's your ABC. There's your rising wedge for B. Now, wave C would have to undercut the whole thing. Maybe it'll undercut it by a penny or two and not change anything, but that's really not what I want to be the right count. It just looks a lot prettier than the last one, and if we start breaking down, it implies we have a heck of a way to go on the downside. I'd be a lot happier if we went higher. I'm just not certain that's going to happen, because we've had people buying way too many calls for way too long, and eventually this has to break, and if that's the right idea, we're going to break pretty soon, even if it isn't tomorrow. We have to use the mixed signals rules. Let's go over what's mixed. Friday's pattern has a really high. It doesn't tell us where we open. Typically it's a rally day with a high in the final hour and failures a straight line drop. There's a higher target. If we don't gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. But remember, the system almost always will leave a failed target at a significant change in trend. So when you're hitting new highs like this, you just can't rely on that. We rally into a strong resistance area in a straight line. Either we gap over that resistance or the resistance wins, meaning if you don't break through it with a gap, it won't stick, it'll retrace. We gapped up at a higher high but closed under intraday highs, and if that's maintained at the open, it should lead to lower prices even if we don't close lower. I think gapping up is possible. We're in a bull move. We have a wall into the close. It's a hallmark of panic selling. Could happen. But if we drop instead, we continue lower instead, could have really dire consequences for more than just today, because a retest, a recent low, should follow through in grand style. If we can't gap up and carry through here, if we can't, the rising wedge is a very negative pattern. We have a retest of the diamond on stilts, which tend to break in a straight line down. If this count is the right count, and if, in capital letters, we break down, it could be a long way down and pretty fast. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it sure looks entirely plausible to me at this point. And if we do start down, I'm not going to bet against that. I'm going to probably jump on the train. So, if you're a bull, you better keep your fingers crossed. Hope we gap up and take this out. Even if we do, I'm not certain we have that much further to go. We just have too much resistance up here, even if we do break through this. But we don't have to break through it. We could leave a failed target here. The wall doesn't always work, and if it doesn't work here, it should be a long way down, because the retest of these levels, if it happens, should not hold. And that's today's call.